What's up, traders? Anthony Crudele here, and welcome to this week's episode of Develop Your Edge. In today's show, we're going to talk about how the pressure you're putting on yourself as a trader might be hurting your passion and how you can flip that script. But before we get into that, let's go over this week's Ninja Trader Charting Edge. Now, as you guys know, I like to keep things really simple. An indicator that I use that's fairly simple is the average true range, is what you could see here on the bottom in the blue. I also pulled up an E-mini NASDAQ 100 futures chart on a daily. Now, let me show you how I use the ATR. If you go back and look at here in September, you can see the market was grinding higher, and you can see that average true range was just kind of flat and eventually just getting smaller and smaller. Really, with every rally that we see in stocks, a lot of times you're going to see the volatility decrease. That's just something that happens quite often when you see bull markets. And then all of a sudden you have a sell-off, and then you have a spike in the ATR. And what I look for is when we have that spike and it goes up there and stays there for a while, and you see how we get up to roughly this 350-ish point range here in the E-mini NASDAQ. That's what it's been when we get to the peaks. Then you start to see how they're just really searching for a bottom. So when I see that ATR get up there, spike like that, and stay there for a period of time, they're still fishing for a bottom. And until I see it start to slowly, dramatically decrease like you do here, then this is a time where I look at it and say, now we finally maybe have found a low. You see that ATR is falling off, and we could just be right back to grind up mode. So as you can see here, it's very similar to that. Grinding up, ATR shrinking, spike, searching for that low, something just to be what I call market awareness. Stays up there, starts to come back down, grinds back up, which brings me to where we are right now. This is why I pulled up the NASDAQ for today. Got that spike again. Really a high spike, a spike above 350 on the average daily range, which we haven't seen really in quite some time. And now we're just kind of staying spiked up there. What am I looking for? So if we stay up here and the ATR stays spiked and the NASDAQ continues to be volatile, which you're expecting it because the average true range is pretty high right now, until this starts to fall off, and if it does start to fall off, what would that indicate? Very similar to what we saw in the past. Like I said, we could be back into bull mode. So it's just another way to gauge volatility. And I like to look at that because when it stays spiked, I think it's going to be very volatile. As a day trader, I could take advantage of that. And when I start to see it start to grind back down, then I look to see how it's matching my technicals. And maybe I'm starting to look more on the long side and maybe only long side. So this is just a simple tool to be able to help you with your trading and give you that little extra edge. And that's this week's Ninja Trader Charting Edge. Now, I put out on Twitter this past week that I have been trading pretty well. And I had a coaching session with one of my coaches, Coach Dana Cavalier. So I want to pull up something here and show you something that me and Coach talked about. And it's interesting because in the tweet I put out saying I've been trading really well, but I just feel burned out. I feel like I've been getting crushed, but I'm really not. My P&L actually has been up, small, but it's been up. This is going back over just a few weeks. And I got on the call with the coach, and he asked me, he's like, so what's wrong? And I'm like, you know what? I'm just not focused when I'm away from trading right now. I'm out there doing anything. I'm not really present, whether I'm playing golf with friends, on the phone. I'm not really present. I just feel like I'm just burned out. And I feel like that is because of my trading. I'm just trading quite a bit right now. And I feel just unsettled. I can't explain it, just stressed out. This is what I'm telling him. And he says to me, Anthony, what if I told you it's really not even about your trading? And I was like, well, I feel like that's where it's stemming from, right? And he said, well, you know what, Anthony, something that you're probably doing, and he knows me, I'm pretty type A, as many of you traders are out there. He's like, you're a very analytical person. And right now, I was just getting over analytical and putting me in a negative state. And the things we had talked about is explains me to a T. I'm just, you're thinking about everything. I know as traders, we're competitors. We want to win. That's what we do, right? We want to pull as much out of the market as we can. And we put a lot of time and effort into things, into everything that we do. And I can say that for most traders out there. We end up just getting caught in this over analytical state. And what it does is that as that goes up, the coach was telling me, he goes, your trust and faith in everything else that you're doing goes down. So therefore, my process, I was losing trust and faith in other things that I was doing, other processes, not just trading. I've said many times before, what you're doing outside of trading or what you're doing in trading, they work together, they're hand in hand. And I've been saying, I'm a golfer, and that's something that when I go out and play, it takes focus. I'm out there sometimes and I'm just like, I just don't even care. I'm not present. Or, we're going to a party and it's like, okay, do I want to go or whatever? You're going to meet friends for dinner, whatever it is. And I'm just losing trust and faith in my process and everything. And it's just because I'm overanalyzing everything, as I think many of you traders do, like I mentioned. So what's the solution? He says, flip the arrows. Well, how do you do that? Let me take you to my next slide here. And something that it really triggered for me when Coach had said, he goes, Anthony, when your pressure goes up, your passion goes down. And I was just sitting there listening to him, and I'm thinking to myself, it's exactly what's happening to me. I'm putting pressure on myself again. Like I mentioned, we're competitors as traders. We want to perform at the highest level. This is develop your edge. It's about each and every week getting better, working on our edges. That's what we do as traders, constantly adapting, constantly evolving. And we put a lot of pressure on ourselves to perform. And when we're not doing what we think we should be, we just keep overanalyzing and putting more pressure on ourselves. And what that does is that hurts our passion. And you get burned out. And he told me, he's like, burned out doesn't really exist. This is what really exists. Pressure goes up, passion goes down. How do we fix it? He said to me, Anthony, give me 3 things that you're proud of. So I'm going to share with you 3 things that I'm proud of. And at the time, I felt like kind of under the spot. I'm like, what do I say here? And he said, just give me 3 things. I said, first of all, in my career, one of my goals was to be able to make $100,000 a year as a trader. Back in the 90s when I started, it was my goal. I said, if I'm going to go get a job, I want to be able to make $100,000 a year. If I could do that in trading, it's the best job in the world. And one of the things I was able to accomplish in my first 5 or 6 years or so of trading was actually to make $100,000 in a day. I was very, very proud of that moment. So I told him that. He's like, what else? Give me another one. Obviously, I needed to give him 3. Another one was figuring out how to do podcasting and everything that I was doing, and just like growing my audience with the podcast and reaching out and helping traders. I'm very proud of that because to me, when I came from a community on the floor, so many people helped me, and then being able to go out there and help traders like yourself, very gratifying for me. And I'm very proud of what I've been able to accomplish with that. And then the final one is the thing I'm most proud of actually in my life, is just a personal transformation. Many of you know I had a heart attack at 36 years old. I'm in the best shape of my life physically and mentally, even though sometimes I have challenges with both. But I was able to really turn things around and do a full, personal transformation. And that is a day in, day out commitment. And that's something I hold true and dear to myself every single day. It's, like I said, it's what I'm the most proud of in my life. And when he sat back and said, he goes, so you made $100,000 in a day. You were able to grow and build a community of futures traders through your podcast, and you did a personal transformation. And he goes, are those good things in your life? And I was like, yeah. He's like, reverse the arrows. You are passionate. Start thinking more in that mindset. How did you achieve those goals? It was your passion. When you're putting pressure on yourself, you're taking away from your passion, which got you those things. So as traders, trying to help you out there, understand that when you put that pressure on yourself, that takes away some of your passion. And that will hurt you because your passion is what's going to get you to where you want to be in this business. Hang tight, I'll be right back with my final thoughts.
Why did I add futures to my trading strategy? 24/7 access to diverse global markets, like wheat. Can you say growth opportunity?
we should probably harvest that.
Final thoughts for today, traders. I want to challenge you to flip that script. Take some of that pressure off yourself. Add to your passion. Think of 3 things that you're proud of that you've accomplished in your life to flip that script and to bring more passion and less pressure in your trading. Now, I want to remind all of you that there are E-mini crude oil futures, symbol QM. To learn more, go to activetrader.cmegroup.com. And remember, if you have any questions or comments, please put them down below. And if you're enjoying the show, click that subscribe button. You could also DM me on Twitter. My DMs are open at Anthony Crudele. Don't forget to check out Instagram, Anthony C. Crudele. That's a wrap for today. See you next week.